Can Cub Scout leaders be members of the Order of the Arrow? It's possible. Let's talk about it. Hey, ScouterStan. Let's talk a little bit about this Cub Scout leaders. Now, obviously not Cub Scouts, but Cub Scout leaders, even committee members. Can they be part of the Order of the Arrow? It's a good question, and hopefully we'll answer that. But let's go. I got to do what I have to do. Yeah, see? Official. The Order of the Arrow, briefly speaking, is the honor society of Scouting America. This is one of those things that a lot of adult leaders want to get involved in and feel as if they are prohibited while in Cub Scouting. This is unfortunate because they probably qualify. The qualifications for the night's camping and all that stuff, they've done. They've actually done that. Some are actually with a Cub Scout unit and a troop. So they have pack and troop things that they do. And why not? Certainly, I think that it's totally possible. What about committee members? Even committee members can get involved in that. But the honor society is what the Order of the Arrow is about. Brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service is really the core of what the Order of the Arrow is about. And being a member of it is possible while active in the Cub Scout realm. Now, way back in 1915, this was a campers society for Boy Scouts. And it was in 1915, when it was first created, it was to help the camp and give cheerful service back to the council or the district and give service to others. And through the Order of the Arrow. It's a wonderful tradition and all of the stuff there. Now, with adults that are servicing in a pack, the den leaders, the Cub Master, they can participate and actually qualify for the adult part and actually go through ordeal. Now, there's a lot to that. And youth in Cub Scouts are not available to that because one of the requirements is first class. They can't achieve first class as a Cub Scout. They have to do that in a troop. So that qualification precludes them. This is something that a lot of leaders in Cub Scouts think that also precludes them. Not true. You are an adult leader. You can work with your committee, the PAC's committee, and get that rolling as far as getting your nomination and so on, getting that whole process started. And if you, as a youth, were in the Order of the Arrow, you're naturally in the Order of the Arrow, even though you're registered in a PAC. So you can wear the flap, which is here. You can wear the sash when you're representing. These are things that a lot of Cub Scout packs do not know. And it's totally fine if the adult leader wants to do that. That's fine. That's up to them. Now, the qualifications for who can join the Order of the Arrow is spelled out. And Cub Scouts don't qualify because the very first requirement is first class. You have to be a first class scout in a troop. That's the first thing for youth. That's a requirement for them. Then there's the night's camping and of course service to the unit and so on. There's a lot of requirements, and it's important that when you're working as a pack, that you, when you're working with a pack and as an adult leader, you can qualify very easily to join the Order of the Arrow. Now, this is also true for committee. If you're in the committee or behind the scenes, and you've got the adult qualifications that are required, you could actually be nominated and do your ordeal with the Order of the Arrow. So this is something that the committee can actually be a part of. And it's true for district. If you're with the district, you're not with a pack or a troop or a crew or a ship. The thing is, you could easily qualify. You could go with the troop or the crew to camping for a week. That would take care of your camping requirement. So there's a lot of that stuff that can be done on the district level and the council level too. So it is very possible to have them qualify and go ahead and get nominated and actually do the ordeal. So that is a huge thing. Now, the Order of the Arrow does a election. They do it with the youth in a troop. That's one thing. When you're in a pack and you're an adult leader, adult leaders are actually elected or nominated and elected in for the ordeal through the committee. So that is something that's done behind the scenes. Okay, so the youth don't even know. So in a Cub Scout pack, the youth wouldn't know. They're really not involved as far as that. They don't qualify to be a member of the Order of the Arrow because of the first class requirement. That's something that's there. So as far as the adults, make sure that they know that they can qualify and still get into the ordeal. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would a Cub Scout leader be interested in the Order of the Arrow? Order of the Arrow is one of these organizations that recognizes service. And that's one of those service things. If you were like me, wanting to do service constantly and to help others at all times, that's a big thing. And that naturally they want to be interested in. Cub Scouts are naturally gravitating towards the older Scouts that are in the Order of the Arrow. They see this big white sash and they think that it is special, and it is. It is actually quite special. It is a organization that helps recognize cheerful service. So that's the thing. And the brotherhood of the Order of the Arrow is very attractive. So the Cub Scouts are interested in it, and scout leaders in Cub Scouts are also interested. And that's fine. They should go and make sure that they qualify and that they can do their ordeal if they didn't do that as a youth. Now, this is the thing. If you went through as a troop, as a scout, and joined the Order of the Arrow, went through your ordeal, even brotherhood, this is something that you just pay the new fee and they put you in. And you could go to the activities that the Order of the Arrow does. So it's totally okay as a Cub Scout leader to do that, because you've already done your ordeal. You've already done your brotherhood. You know, those are things that you've done. So you don't have to do them again, okay? If you're going to do them again, you would have to do it as an oligomat, okay? Because you've already gone through your ordeal. You only do your ordeal once. So that's the important thing with Cub Scouts, Cub Scout leaders. They don't have to redo that if they did that as a youth. Now, the Order of the Arrow is a service organization, and they should be involved with your pack as a Cub Scout adult leader. Having the OA available for ceremonies, for all kinds of things that they can do. They can actually be your den chief. Den chiefs are often in the Order of the Arrow. That's a huge thing. Your den leaders and your Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, all the adults in the pack could be members of the Order of the Arrow. So they have a natural to say, hey, I need you to come and demo something at the next pack meeting. This is a wonderful way for them to give service, and cheerful service. So they're willing to go and do these things and really help out. So there's a lot of great opportunities for service for the Order of the Arrow with your pack. And this will lighten the load because you don't have to worry about certain things. You can actually assign it to them and they'll take care of it. I know of many chapters that will do the food for the blue and gold. They'll actually come and cook it up at in the church's kitchen that they have. They'll actually cook it up. This is something that can be done, and having that special relationship between the pack, the troop, and the Order of the Arrow, so critical that you include them. So try to get that going. Try to get that blended together. It makes it much easier because the Cub Scouts, they know about the Order of the Arrow. They want to participate, and they will see it, and it will be there, and they will not be fearful of it when they go to a troop. When they cross over from that pack into the troop, they know about it. So that's not something that's new or fearful that they've never been exposed to. So it's something that they can actually get into. And the brotherhood of cheerful service is amazing. And I highly recommend getting that relationship together with your local lodge, your local chapter of that lodge. It's important. Now in Cub Scouts, we have the Arrow of Light ceremony that happens every year. Every pack has a ceremony. It could be a bridge, it could be different things that could go on. I've seen all kinds of ceremonies for crossover. The Order of the Arrow is there to help out in that process. It could be just reading scripts or helping them with building the bridge, or just trying to help out with the pack and the troop and how that crossover ceremony happens. There's a lot that they can do. So check out that video. It's got a lot of information about the Arrow of Light crossover that the Order of the Arrow can be a part of. So definitely have that relationship so that you can take advantage of that. The Order of the Arrow is a natural bridge between your Cub Scouts and your troop. So those Cub Scouts can cross over to the troop, boy or girl. That is the natural progression. And the OA is a big part of that. You want them involved. It's kind of helpful as far as the support or background to a lot of that ceremony of crossing from one thing to the next. That is true, and it's important that we keep that tradition alive. Okay, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you know that you're invited to the campfire chat. This is a live meeting right here on this channel that we do every first Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is a great way to ask questions and not just me, but a lot of the guests that we have on the fireside chat. Definitely check that out. Also, I want to thank all of the Patreon for all of their support of this channel. In addition to that, we have our own membership right here on the channel. This is a fantastic way to get involved on this channel. Definitely hit the join button. It'll give you a bunch of information that'll tell you a little bit more about that process. So definitely get involved. We're going to just jump right on back. Now, supporting Cub Scout leaders that are involved with the Order of the Arrow can be as easy as the calendar. If the calendar of events prevents a member of the order of the arrow from going to an activity. And there are 4 activities usually. In most lodges, they have 4 big activities every year. Make sure that when you're planning out your year, that you look at the calendar and make sure that your activity that you wanted to do doesn't conflict with their obligation to do the order of the arrow activity. Try to keep that competition. But if you can't reschedule, the priority should be made for the unit, not the order of the arrow. That's the key. But try to help your adult leaders that are involved with the order of the arrow to have those opportunities, because they 4 times a year. That's it. So sometimes 5, sometimes 6, depends on what's going on. And then there's big, huge activities like week-long things that they can do. So you want to make sure that your schedule is congruent with their schedule and the order of the arrow, so they can do both. And that's the key. You want to be able to have them not have to pick and choose. But if they have to, if you've got a big thing that you've been planning for years or always did on that date, and the order of the arrow has an activity, they're to attend your unit's activity, the pack. Okay? And that's true with troops and crews and ships. They all have to, the priorities with the unit, not with the order of the arrow. Okay? Cheerful service. That service opportunity is there. They have to go to it. So that's the key. So definitely help them be a part of both. Now, your role as a Cub Scout leader, the adult leaders, you have to exemplify the Scout Oath and Scout Law. These are things that all leaders need to do. And that's true for the order of the arrow. They need to think about their Scout Oath and Scout Law so that they can combine that with whatever the program has put together. And if you can find places for cheerful service, oh my, that's the time to bring in the order of the arrow. And they may not be people with the actual pack, okay? They might be there just for the blue and gold, just for the Pinewood Derby, okay? They might be there just to help out and making sure the food comes out and that there's a spoon for each thing at the potluck. These are very simple things, but as an adult leader, if you're the only one doing it, oh my gosh, it can be very stressful. Okay, decrease that stress. Use the order of the arrow. They're there. Okay, the youth are there. Make sure that you have a good relationship. Your committee has a good relationship with your local chapter. The chapters are part of the lodge. So the chapters are just a small group in your district. That chapter, you want to make sure that you know the people to contact. You know that the advisor for the order of the arrow, and you know that the chapter chief for that chapter, you have their contact information. Especially as a committee chairman. Committee chairmans and anyone in the key 3, they need to be able to have those contacts available so that the adults can talk to the adult advisor for that chapter. That's the important thing. In the key 3, especially the committee chair, they're going to be needing information when elections come up. And elections are varied throughout the country. Depends on what region or area you're in. Sometimes it's during the fall, sometimes it's during the spring. Sometimes I've seen it at summer camp. I mean, it can be all kinds of things. But definitely, as a committee chair, they need to have that contact information. So have them get a hold of whoever's doing that election. And if you want more information about the elections in Order of the Arrow, definitely check out the video. That's got a lot of information about some of the logistics of how to time things, and with a pack, you don't have to necessarily do a youth election. Okay, they're not doing that. Okay, this is an adult thing. It's the electorate is the committee, so that's the thing. It has nothing to do with the youth because the youth aren't eligible. Okay, in a pack, and that's the key thing. But the adult leaders sure are eligible. Now here's some review, but it's helpful tips. Okay, these tips really help out people that are in the Order of the Arrow and in a pack, in a troop, or in a crew, or so on. Working your schedules. Try to organize your scheduling so that you don't have, you try to keep to the minimum conflicts. You don't want to have everything planned on one day, and the unit needs them there, but then they're working as advisor for the OA. It can get stressful if this calendar isn't considered. So whenever you're doing planning, pack planning, troop planning, crew planning, all these things, make sure that you look at the calendar and think of other units. You definitely don't want to do the big camporee for a troop the same weekend that they have an OA event. And you also don't want to have the pack in there doing a crossover. Okay, make sure that you work on the schedule. You want to make sure that all that stuff is considered so that your youth in a troop and your adult leaders in a pack can participate in everything. They have the availability to do so. They're not being pulled in every direction. Another big tip is that a lot of chapters will actually have a ceremony for crossover. So that's something you can ask them about. That is very exclusive to the Order of the Arrow. That is a wonderful ceremony. And I really can't go into details about it because it may have changed. I try to keep everything evergreen on the channel. But the thing is that some of that is going on and some of that is very interesting. You want them to participate in that and make sure that they represent the Order of the Arrow at your Order of the Order of the Arrow should be representing at your Arrow of Light. This is huge. Okay, that's a wonderful thing to have, and have them there to really do that. That's just wonderful. Now here's a call to action for all Cub Scout adult leaders. If you're in the Order of the Arrow or would like to be part of the Order of the Arrow, leave a comment. Okay, there are a lot of people out there that can be contacted to help you join, go through that process, and also if you're in the OA, you could connect up with a lot of the packs and talk to them about their blue and gold and their Pinewood Derby and all of the different things that they do, crossover ceremonies. It is a ton of things out there, but the wonderful thing about the Order of the Arrow, it's a group, a brotherhood of cheerful service, and they're there to help. And don't be stressed out about all the different details. Have them come and help. They can definitely work things with the pack. And that's true with the troop too. Don't just say it's just a pack. You can also do it with a troop, a crew, and a ship. You can definitely get involved. Try to keep those conflicts to a minimum and make sure that your adult leaders know they are eligible and they can get into the Order of the Arrow. I know we've been talking about packs and adult leaders in that pack. Cub Scouts pack being involved in the Order of the Arrow. We've been talking about that, and that's kind of the focus for this, mainly because I had an adult that was in the Order of the Arrow as a youth and thought that they had to redo everything. That's not how this works. They didn't know, and it's important that if you're with a pack to go through that election process if you've never been in the OA. But if you're in the Order of the Arrow, make sure that it's also renewed. You got to pay your dues to the lodge that you're in. But then that gets you basically reinstated, and you wear their flap. That's how that works. It's an amazing process, and I'm so proud of all the hard work you do in your pack and in your troops and crews and so on. They should be watching this too, because they need to be knowing about it. Okay, they should know too. It's not exclusive to packs, but tonight's kind of been that focus, and that's one of those things. And I want to make sure that if you need more information about Cub Scouting, I have a Cub Scouting history. Definitely check it right out. And until next time, I'll see you on the trail.